You're listening to the Joint Sermons on the Push Media Podcast Network.
A different type of show today for at least the intro. A couple of days ago, yesterday, at the time of this recording, Pope Francis, His Holiness Pope Francis, has passed away. And I basically just want to say, may he rest in peace. But some of the things that came to my attention, I'm sure came to the attention of many of you, is in the wake of his death, the darker undercurrents of religious extremism have once again revealed themselves, not from distant corners of the globe, but from within our own borders. In the United States is what I'm talking about. And predictably, American evangelical figures have seized the moment not to reflect, to mourn, or express reverence, but to celebrate with grotesque triumphalism. For example, Marjorie Taylor Greene, I'm reluctant to call her representative, but she is, a proud daughter of the American South, responded to the Pope's death by declaring that, quote, evil is being defeated by the hand of God, end quote. Such a statement, far from theological, reflects the toxic depths to which the American evangelical movement has sunk. This movement, more political machine than spiritual guide, and I think people of honest bend will agree with me, has long operated less like a faith and more like a blood cult, obsessed with purity, control, and distorted notion of divine vengeance. See Israel. The issue lies not only in what they believe, but in how fervently they believe they are the sole mouthpiece of God. The conviction bleeds into public life, into our government, our laws, and our collective conscience. Their messianic loyalty to figures like Donald Trump, a man who embodies none of the teachings of Christ, is not merely ironic, it is tragic. He is their golden calf, and they follow him blindly, mistaking their ignorance for divine inspiration. Their deification of Trump is a red flag waving furiously in the wind, a signal of just how deeply detached from reality and morality this movement has become. To elevate a man known for cruelty, dishonesty, and self-interest to the status of a Christ figure is not only blasphemous, it's corrosive. It has eroded the moral compass of millions, replacing compassion with contempt, service with supremacy, and humility with hubris. In their hands, faith is no longer a tool for healing. It is a weapon aimed squarely at the very fabric of American democracy. But they reveal themselves in many ways. In the hatred they project, the regressive ideologies they espouse, and yes, often even the proud ignorance they wear like armor. They long not for the future, but for the past, an imagined past where cruelty was policy and empathy a weakness. Let them speak. Let them proudly show their faces. Let their words expose their hearts. And while they scream of wrath and retribution, let us continue to walk in compassion, love, charity, and kindness. Nothing enrages them more than mercy, than dignity, than grace extended to those who they would rather see cast out. They thrive in fury. So let us disarm them with gentleness. And as for Representative Greene's declaration that evil is being defeated by the hand of God, perhaps she is more right than she knows. The hand of God is moving. But the evil being defeated is not the Pope. It is the hatred, the delusion, and the cruelty she and her ilk so proudly represent. And no one is more blind to that truth than those who believe they speak for heaven while sowing hell on earth. And that is my piece on the subject, Doc.
Bars.
That is my piece. I'm not going to argue out of respect for the Pope and the kindness that he showed people. Not just Catholics. He very well on the record of showing great kindness and compassion for everyone. I'm not going to argue with these people.
No, and you shouldn't. Need to. I don't.
But they are wrong.
Yeah, I mean it was. Yeah, I mean when it comes to the Pope, it's you know my feelings about religion. We've been over it a million times, but I mean how you could revel in someone like that dying. I mean, we can run back all the things with the church and whatever, but a sitting government official saying that just
it's strange.
It's so gross. And like you said, it's just a death cult. And that's exactly what they want. And
That's what's
you weren't
scary.
wrong on anything. Yeah, no, I mean, it is
They're in
absolutely
power.
insanity.
We have the war with Israel, which is just, go back and listen to the archives. There was, quote, relative peace, and Hamas went and attacked, and then they got their butts handed to them. But at one point, morally, your revenge is over and overboard.
I
Like
mean,
if you walk up and slap me, I have every right to punch you back. But if I punch you 75 times for your one, it's like, stop.
well, I mean, this also goes back to, Zionism being directly tied to
Yes.
evangelicals.
Yeah,
And
yes.
that is an issue. And,
And they want Jesus to come back on their terms for the white
exactly.
people.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's what it is.
Look who Mike Huckabee
Yeah. And I mean,
is sent to represent the United States to Israel. No, thank you.
Yeah. And as far as like the whole war, I mean, that is, people are always like, oh, it's a complex issue. And it's like, if you go back and look at the history, it's really not that complex. And when it comes down to it, like we all know what Israel did.
Well, here's the thing: no one was friends of the Jews after World War II. They wanted them out of Europe, so they said, "Fine, we'll kick these brown people out, and you can have the land back, and you're out of Europe." That's what they thought. That's literally what was happening. It wasn't like they were like, "We're restoring prophecy. We're gonna." No. You wanted the Jews out of Europe because you thought they were trouble.
Yeah, and
that's exactly what happened.
And then they gave them somebody else's land. So I get why the Arabs and the Palestinians were upset.
That land goes back and forth, much longer than we've been around, right? Yeah. So I don't even like the debate of whose land is it. It doesn't matter. I don't care who technically occupied it first 8,000 years ago, 5,000. I don't care. Stop.
Yeah.
At the very minimum, it's a two-state solution. That's it.
I mean, at this point, I don't think there's ever going to be a two-state solution because they're just
the communist Pope said morally it should be a two-state solution. That's what gets me. These Marjorie Taylor Greens of the world. First of all, she is a Cro-Magnon. Anyway, look at her.
Yeah, she's a trash person, dude.
Put her skeleton at the Smithsonian when she dies and tell me if she doesn't fit in. I'm not being funny. Look at her face.
No.
I'm just being mean. I'm not being funny. I'm being mean.
No.
But it's true. It's funny because it's true. But the Pope is communist. The Pope is socialism. The Pope, oh my gosh. Like I told you, people say that to me. I have people on the left call me right wing. I have people on the right who call me communist or socialist because I'll say things like, similar to the Pope, and it's not my original idea, but it is my idea as well. I don't believe kids should be hungry.
No.
I don't believe we should abandon our people. I believe we should help our people if we can. And sometimes the people are the cause of their own, disparity and grief in life, and that happens.
Well, and you can tell these people have never read the Bible,
I can't help those people, right? And they hadn't read the Bible. Well, Jesus is a socialist. I mean, it's just. But also, you know what kills me about this? The American evangelicals. First of all, they're false. None of them exist. None of those churches have been ordained by God. Period. And I think if you read the Bible as an honest person and say, "Well, what does it say?" Well, he founded the church on the rock, Peter, which means rock, which is the original church, the Catholic Church. No one disagrees that church was there first and is the church. And then it split off. And Jesus says, upon this rock I will build my church. He never said, upon this rock I will build my 22,614 denominations in America. That's the problem with evangelicals and Protestants. Well, I can just hammer my thesis to the church walls, or I can just declare my new church, call it the Abundant God Choice of Principalities of St. Louis. That means nothing. And now you're a church because you bought some nice blue Wranglers with a crease in them. It means nothing. It means nothing.
This one's going to be doing numbers in the South.
And you're driving America's truck, the Ford F-150. I mean, it means nothing. These are the same people who think they know how to balance a budget, but yet haven't done it. But then also say tariffs aren't a tax and the tariffs get paid for by the... No, you paid for the tariffs, you moron.
Yeah. Well, we live in the dumbest timeline. You know what I mean? Like,
I'll tell you this. As a roundabout way to reference fitness. So, I bought my bike. Yeah. And I asked, and I wasn't ready to buy it that moment when I did buy it, but I bought it because the tariffs were coming. And I said to this bike shop, honestly, what are the tariffs going to be like? We don't know, except that we've been warned from the manufacturers that there will be tariffs. He goes, I have no idea when they're going to happen or how much. Cool. And then there was a sale. It was called a Trek Fest. The Trek had to put all their bikes on sale. Boom, jumped on it. Let me get it. I just had to get it ordered. I only had to put $100 down to get it ordered. Boom, done. Ordered. 2 days after I picked it up, it's like 30% more.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't blame Trek.
No, I mean, it's not like I don't understand how people who haven't taken a basic economics course doesn't understand how this works. I mean, it's capitalism 101. Like, do you think they're just going to eat it? Like,
it's stupid. Well, I do like China's last response last week, where they're no longer going to respond to these numbers because they're just fake.
Yeah, they're made up at this point.
258% tariff?
Shut up.
Shut up. I know, shut up completely.
Well, and it's like, look, I work in a logistics heavy job. My wife does too. We're already seeing them. Like, I know her job's already, they're taking like a 40% hit already. You know what I mean? And they're losing customers. Not a lot, but it's enough to like smaller companies that deal with them are just like, we can't absorb that hit. That's too much. We're making ends meet now, but if we take that extra hit, like, we're done. So, and it's so stupid. And now he's going after the Fed chairman. It's like, oh my God, dude, he's just going to crater the dollar. It's going to be worth nothing.
Because the chairman of the Fed actually has the nerve to say, this isn't going to work and it's too much. Now, tariffs as an economic thing have its place. It really does.
Well, no, obviously.
It could be a motivator somewhere, but coming out just going, hey, I'm going to have tariffs to the whole planet is not the answer.
No, it's not at all.
But they praise him for it. Hallelujah. Well, Jesus Christ has delivered President Donald Trump to America to get all the blacks and Mexicans out of here. Put them in their place. Put them in their place. Yeah, I'm deeply racist. I'm a white American who's MAGA. I'm deeply racist. I don't have a white cloth on my head anymore. I have a MAGA hat. I'm deeply racist. I get on Twitter 24/7 and argue how great Donald Trump is because I'm deeply racist and an ignorant, inbred asshole.
Yep.
I mean, that's all they are.
Yeah.
And I'm not confusing MAGA with a typical Republican. Two different things, because there are typical Republicans that are like, they keep speaking out against the tariffs and they're getting, you're going to get primaried down. So they're evil because they're saying, wait, hold on. This, I have a calculator, sir, Mr. President, and it's not adding up here.
Yeah. Well, it's absolutely insane that, like, they are just sheep. They always say, oh, you're a snowflake. Oh, you're a sheep.
I can't stand that.
You could literally, he literally comes out, makes shit up. And that's the talking point. Like, you go online and it's just like verbal diarrhea. It's like you make a point and they're like, well, whatever, cry harder, snowflake.
They deported that guy to Venezuela from Baltimore who was, I would say neither you or I know this man, and I don't know what the truth is anywhere. But I'm going to be inclined not to believe Donald Trump or the racist people. They showed pictures of this man's, quote, hear me out, MS-13 gang tattoos all over his knuckles. And it turns out it was Photoshopped.
Yeah.
It was Photoshopped.
It doesn't surprise me. Yep.
That's called propaganda and lying.
Well, we are the most propagandized people on the planet.
The president of the United States is holding up a picture with that. Oh, by the way, at the White House Easter egg hunt on Monday, President Donald Trump, praise God, Jesus Christ, praise Donald Trump, was showing little kids his trading cards of his assassination attempt that he had made. Hear me out. Hear me out. On the day of Easter, or the day after Easter, which is typically the resurrection of Jesus for everyone that actually understands that, is he drawing parallels between himself? It just almost felt that way to me.
I mean, they all believe it. They're all like, oh, thank God for Donald Trump. It's like, what are you talking about?
He's giving these things to these little kids who look like they're 8, who probably aren't political because, they're 8. Yeah. And then they're going to be indoctrinated because, wow, I got to meet a president. I was at the White House and he gave me this. And he got Easter bunny and I got chocolate. And you know what I mean? Like, it's indoctrination.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and the thing with the deportation.
Jesus Christ owned an AR-15.
Now you have these idiots arguing that due process isn't necessary. Like,
I'm about to explode. Stop. I didn't hear this. What?
Oh, yeah. So, like, they're talking about these guys that they deported wrongly, right? And now the talking point is,
how about illegally, because the Supreme Court told them to stop twice.
Right? But no, now they're saying that it doesn't matter.
Unanimously.
It doesn't matter if he had due process because he was here illegally. And like people are like, have you read the 14th Amendment? It doesn't say citizen. It says person. And that's for a reason. And now they're saying that like they're trying to compare it to like January Sixers. They're like, oh, well, they didn't get due process. Yes, they did.
Yeah,
you
they did. They
fucking
went to court.
morons. They went to court and were adjudicated.
They had trials.
Like,
They had trials.
I can't. That's why I don't even argue with morons online
They
anymore.
had trials. And
yeah, exactly.
Many of them were convicted and some were not, because that's how trials work. So be it.
And then they're saying that like, well, it doesn't matter. They're here illegally. They don't get due process. Do you understand how stupid you sound when you make a statement like that? Like,
Yes.
It is just, and these are people like, these are like senators and shit that are saying
I
this.
know.
And it's just like, who cares? They're illegal. Oh my God.
Yeah, there's a senator from Oklahoma who's big and buff and tough.
Oh,
He's the same
yeah.
guy. He's the same guy who got real rowdy with, hear me out. And I with an Irishman who happens to be the head of the Teamsters
the
Union.
Teamsters Union. Yeah.
Hello.
And got punked.
Hello.
Yeah. Read the room, bud.
Yeah. First of all, to the head of the Teamsters, when he's like, okay, Senator. Yeah. Okay. That's all he said. Oh, all right, Senator. Okay. Yeah. You're it. Uh-huh. Yeah. That guy has no problem getting up squabbling with you right now.
Yeah. No. And he was also the same. He was also the same guy that was cowering during January 6th, hiding behind it. It's like, stop.
And he's talking about because the defense secretary is on his way out. They're looking for a replacement because
he had another signal chat where he was telling
his wife and his brother with him to,
dude, he was
classified meetings.
He was dropping pins in the signal chat to where they were dropping bombs. Oh my God, dude.
No, that's not no. So he should be removed immediately. And apparently he has no respect of any of the brass in the Pentagon. And I'm going to give the nod to the brass in the military first, because at least they were there 30, 40 years to earn that brass and understand and right? At least.
Yeah.
And whether we agree with everything they ever do or not, they're probably not dropping pins in a signal chat about where we're. Stop it.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, we live in the dumbest timeline, but hey, now we
first
have
of all, he's
president.
a drunk guy. He's an alcoholic from Fox News.
Yeah. With white nationalist tattoos that are prohibited in the army.
Yes.
Like I love that the whole MAGA thing is just predicated on them being able to be openly racist and proud about it. And it's sick.
You know what? Liberals are no different. They praised Barack Obama.
Yeah, well, and that's the problem.
Obama didn't do nothing wrong. And Obama was even smart enough, and he said a nice thing about the Pope when he died, because typically you just say the nice thing and you move on.
Yep.
You say what's expected of when you're in that position. And if you or I in one of those positions, if you or I were president and someone died and you're an atheist, and if you were president, you'd be like, oh, well, may the Pope rest in peace, and may the people that follow him, find comfort, and you just move on.
Right.
You just say the thing and move on. Whatever. No one cares. But how did the Pope think about Barack Obama?
Oh, you saw you saw my response to that.
He referenced him as a monster.
Yeah, absolutely.
No,
because
he didn't say that. He didn't say the president is a monster or Barack Obama, but he referenced those people doing that.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he was Captain Drone Strike. You know what I mean? Like he changed the enemy combatant to be a 13-year-old because he was dropping Hellfire missiles on like weddings in Afghanistan and killing kids, and there was too much collateral damage, so he changed the age. So if a 13-year-old died, he was an enemy combatant. Are you serious?
Trump just hit a group. And they were out in the middle of a field, and they were in a square, holding his hands, and apparently observing some ceremony of, I don't know the specifics of that ceremony, but they're holding it.
It was for Ramadan.
But still, and then they're saying that was a terrorist group. No. I don't know if they understand anything about Islamic terrorists, but typically women aren't involved. You can find young boys, but you're not going to find women. These people are stupid.
I mean, it was literally, I think it was the end of Ramadan, and it was like a celebration that they were breaking a fast or something, and they're like, "Oh my God, he just nuked an Eid celebration!" Like, what are you talking about?
If one terrorist was there, then they were all guilty. Nuh-uh. You're not. There is no such thing as guilty by association.
I mean, could you imagine? And here's something else, when we're talking about things like this, there are Palestinian Christians, and the Pope was checking in
Yes.
on the sole
Every
church
day.
in Palestine
Every day.
every day.
Every day.
And it's like, people
He
completely
called them
forget.
personally.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's insane how just bloodthirsty our government is. And Barack Obama is no different. Liberals are no different. They just like, oh, hey, check it out. We got a black president dropping bombs now.
And
We're
though,
inclusive.
I don't know who, but somebody offered to get those church leaders out of Palestine. They offered that to the Vatican, and the Pope was like, I don't know if that's appropriate. They're shepherding their flock. They can't abandon their flock. And when he brought that up to them and said, we can get you out, apparently, they were like, no. Like, no, we can't leave
That's
our
their
people
home.
here. Well, this is also the members of our church, our flock. We're not going to just leave.
Yeah.
So 8 clergy members can go to Rome and be fine.
Yeah.
But he called every day to check on them, every day. Then he meets J.D. Vance the night before his death, who is a Catholic convert, and basically gets scolded, being told you're not really Catholic. And he didn't. No, the Pope didn't say you're not really Catholic. Everybody, okay. I know there's a lot of literalists out there, and that's why, praise Jesus, Donald Trump is the Messiah, and you guys are all idiots because you're literalists. The Bible is not 100% literal. My goodness. When people always do, I have evangelicals will say to me once, there is no allegory in the Bible. The hell there's not.
What? Isn't there? There's like a
The
whole,
parables alone. Jesus spoke parables. Those are allegory. Those are allegory.
Stories. Like, do you really think there was a burning bush? Like, what are you talking about? Like,
there's a lot of things in the Bible, concepts, that I don't care who you are, how studied you are, that you can read and go, like, what does that mean? What? You try to contemplate it. But there's stories designed to help teach and prove a point. It's the same way when you have kids, you might make up a story to make a point to them. You're not lying to them. You're making a point. You're trying to teach them. And that's an example. That's how we learn. That's why we hand down traditions. People are idiots across the board. Let me say this without no confusion. If you voted for Donald Trump, you're an idiot. Probably racist. Can't convince me. But you are completely an idiot. And if you still stand by it, you're a hateful idiot. You're an absolute dumbass. You're stupid. You're an inbred. You look like your cousin's mother's brother's husband's father. You are stupid. You drink Mountain Dew. You are gross. You are stupid.
Yeah,
You're a stupid person. Now, I'm not saying, because I am not a Democrat and I do not agree with him, but you are stupid if you voted for Donald Trump, and more stupid because you're hateful stupid if you stick by it.
Yeah.
You're going to be paying more. And by the way, I hope you don't get a cold because most of our freaking medicine is manufactured in China. So enjoy your $35 NyQuil when you're sick.
Yeah. I mean,
Idiots.
it's
Idiots.
the whole, yeah. And there's no upside to this either.
No, and China says we're no longer exporting any rare earth minerals to the United States or to any country that may sell it to them.
Like, imagine hating somebody that much.
Imagine Donald Trump who says, we'll just get our own rare earth minerals. Yeah. And it's like, dude, what are they? First of all, what are they called? That's why they're rare, because they only happen to show up in certain parts of the planet, and it's kind of luck where they happen. Shut up.
And you know what? Everybody's gonna be like, see, China made the move. It's like, no, stupid. China was perfectly fine to just be right there and do whatever they're doing. And, this is what we get. We get this reactionary bullshit. And I'm not letting liberals off the hook either, because they were, who did they give you? Kamala Harris. Like, she couldn't beat that racist fat piece of shit. And
neither could Hillary.
It boggles my mind, because how in God's name were those our two options? And
here's the thing about Hillary. She was so awful of a candidate, hear me out, that she couldn't even beat the brand new, with very little experience, black man in a racist America. Racist America, because that's what she calls it. She says we're racist. Racist America says, we'll just take the experienced black guy over you because you are not it. How awful are you?
Yeah. Well, and then she tanks Bernie, like we shouldn't even be in this situation to have this moron. He should be on TV hawking gold bars or whatever.
At this point, Bernie's just grifting too. And AOC,
no, listen.
I wouldn't be surprised if AOC is giving him a rub and tug, because she's dumb. She's dumb.
they're just sheepdogging any potential Green Party or independent voter back to the Democrats. And what's going to happen when they get inevitably back into power? Nothing. And they're going to keep the same policies, but they're just going to put a happy smiley face on it.
Do you want AOC to run for president when she's 35?
No, I don't want either one of those morons.
She's dumb.
I don't know who we need, but we don't need a lib, and we definitely do not need another MAGA Republican. That is for goddamn sure.
I didn't fact check this, but someone said that she has a degree in economics. I don't believe that.
I don't know.
I don't believe that. Based off just how she talks, she seems dumb.
I mean,
Too bad. She's dumb. No. She auditioned. You understand that, right?
Oh, of course.
No,
come on.
She auditioned. They had an open call for people to run for that congressional seat. She auditioned.
Okay.
And she got chosen because the way she looks, and she's a female, and she was younger, not because of any position she has or anything that she could help or general good.
Yeah. No,
it's stupid. And then the first thing that every racist person was like, she's a bartender. No, she was a bartender while she went to college. That's a very common job, like waitress, for people that are trying to make money while they're in college.
And it's always funny to me that people that work, working class jobs will sit there and shit on somebody with a working class job and be
Isn't it weird?
What do you know? It's like, listen, some of the smartest people I know are working class. And if you don't,
first of all, working class does not mean dumb.
No, not at all. And
it does not mean dumb.
That's the
difference.
difference.
Know the skill set? Do you know the skill set? Even if you work in a grocery store and you're a manager of one of the departments, do you understand the logistics and stuff that go into that?
No, because people don't understand that. You know what I mean? And
that's not a slacker job. It's not like the 1930s where I'm like, I'll work at the filling station of Rumflees and I'll flip waffles.
First of all, there will be no Umphy slander ever.
No, I'm not slamming Umphys. I'm slamming people that work at Umphys and flip waffles.
I'm not.
Now, that's another thing. Don't tell me it doesn't take a skill to make the right waffle. Because to this day, I can't make waffles, but my wife can. There's a skill to it. So someone who works at Umphys flipping waffles or pancakes has got a skill that we don't have, and they make better waffles and pancakes than us. There is dignity in all honest work, and there's no lesser job or lesser role in this world than the other. There is none.
No, but that's the thing.
There are roles and jobs that are unnecessary, but they're not ones that are poor, bad, or lesser than.
Yeah, but I mean that's kind of the weird dichotomy that you get between the two parties in the U.S. because you have the ones that are like we're going to be working class, but then they sell out to oligarchs, and then you have the other ones that are like, we're rich assholes, and they also sell out to oligarchs. It's like this whole country is cooked because 5 rich guys decide everything that's going on.
Yes,
and that's we're screwed.
And now they fight, and then these retards fight on Twitter. And they go, this being mean to me. What is wrong with you?
Yeah, I don't know. It is. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss.
If I met Donald Trump and say I had 48 hours with the guy, right? Where I had his attention, I would stroke that man's ego so much, dude, we would leave with health care. I'd be like, Mr. President, You're not far off from that idea. You just got to get these people out of your way. All these people, you got to get them out of your way. They're awful for you. Because you're going to fix healthcare because you have the best plan. You said so, and I believe that. And once we all have healthcare that comes out of single payer and it works, and everybody don't have the high copays, we're not going bankrupt, all stuff. Dude, there's going to be statues of you everywhere, and you know it. What are you afraid of? Dude he wants a statue. Give him a statue. That's all Elon Musk is doing.
Yeah.
And who told Elon Musk those trucks look any good?
No.
Now, again, style is subjective, so I really don't care. Like, I'm not a car person.
It looks like a refrigerator. Stop.
My son says it looks like a render, like a computer render from the PlayStation 1. That's what he says.
Yeah, I mean, it checks out. He's not wrong.
The thing is, I'm not a car guy. I can say, oh, that car looks nice, that car, but I don't really care. Well, and I don't care if you like that car or that color car, and I don't. But that's ugly.
Yeah, it's not good.
But also, you know what's funny? Is liberals who want to own Elon Musk because of the car that they don't like, so they just don't buy it and shut up. I don't care, right? But they're like, oh yeah, well, we can't do this, that, and this. And it's like, okay, and I don't even know that Elon Musk said it does that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't.
like I'm going to own Elon Musk by saying something about this Tesla truck. Go ahead. I don't even like. There was one claim where it's because it goes off road and stuff a little bit, right? But it's not a Jeep, and he doesn't say it's a Jeep. He doesn't say it's rock crawling, but it goes off road a little bit. You can go camping with it and stuff. And then people are like, "Oh, well, look at this Jeep could do this and that." And I'm like, "Yeah, but that's not a Jeep, and he didn't say it was. So who are you owning? You look stupid. You're like someone
Yeah.
who sniffs your own farts. Like that's
That-
stupid."
that's such a good South Park episode. Nice callback.
First of all, you understand the liberalism.
Uh,
People in San Francisco act like that.
yeah.
And you know what's weird too? You go into certain coffee shops and stuff like that and bakeries in San Francisco, and you will find some of them are full of Apple geeks and the other half are full of Android geeks, and they don't talk to each other, and it's weird. Well, are you serious? Like, as much of a dork as I am about Apple, like, are you serious? I don't care if you have Android, actually. I don't care.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well-
They're all tools. Just pick the tool that helps you best for whatever you need to accomplish and move on. I don't care. I'm not paying for your phone. That's this
Yeah.
world. We have to have tribes with everything. And George
Yeah.
Washington was right. The political parties would be the death of America.
Yeah. Well, this is what happens when you have two morons arguing. We just get one moron in charge, and that's basically where we're at. We're just switching morons.
I can't. Kanye West. I have to go over this real quick. I just got the sign that we only have about 3 minutes. So I don't know if this is true or not, but it's Kanye West. So I don't know. Honestly,
God,
I
but
don't know.
did he burn a cross or something?
No. Well, one, he did post a picture of himself as the Pope, trying to be the next Pope, which is okay, dude. Whatever. Great.
Super edgelord cringe.
Yeah, yeah. Ho ho. You're so funny. But no. So he has a male cousin, which many of us do, and apparently he spent a couple years in a relationship with that male cousin, Slaven Knobs.
What?
No, his words, not mine. He
Oh wait, this is like he said this on.
So he had said he had a sexual relationship with his male cousin, in which I guess the sexual part was oral.
Okay, wait, he said this in an interview, or this is on X? Or
So he had made some posts, and then he put it on a song. There's a new song where he starts talking about it, and people were like,
Well-
"Wait, what are you saying?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's true."
that is
It's your
disturbing to say
cousin,
the
dog.
least. Yeah, what are you doing?
Now,
Like,
Marjorie Taylor Greene's going to go, "They were gay," and I'm like, "Hold on, that's not even the problem here." Whew,
Yeah.
they were blood relation.
yeah, if you think the gay part was the bad part about that situation, we are vastly different people.
And I know how repulsed you are by gay people, and that's not me, but whatever.
Shut
But at least you recognize, hey, look at, we got in trouble last week. I don't want.
Hey, listen.
Hey,
Just because I think your mustache is sexy and you feel some type of way about that, don't project on me there, bud.
that's weird.
I know. I mean, hey, you got a cute mustache.
I don't like anything you just said. I don't.
That's
Anyway,
okay.
the Nintendo Switch is coming out. We get to order it starting, I think, Friday.
How much extra is it going to cost, though?
Zero. Japan has decided, well, Nintendo, but Japan has said, no, we're not going to do that.
Wow.
To the Americans and the Canadians as of right now. Meaning, if you want, just go pre-order it.
Okay.
Because who knows? Because I don't know. One of them may sneeze one day, and Donald Trump's like, "Excuse me, did you sneeze in the direction of the almighty Donald Trump?" Japan.
God, I don't know how he managed to
And then-
make every word sound racist.
And then, because when you're racist,
yeah.
you make every word. So,
I
again,
know, but
you
he's
can
just-
tell the race joke, and if you're being racist, people will recognize it. And if you're just making jokes, people will laugh at your jokes.
Yep.
That's the answer. China.